Okay, so now we're going to look at Undisputed Champions. First and foremost, in the beginning, an Undisputed Champion was just one in every division. Of course, there were fewer divisions as well. And the opportunity to face the Undisputed Champion was somewhat slim, even though it was the same as the systems we have today, where it was basically by rankings and how well somebody performed. But back then, we also had problems with color differences, where some fighters who were not of a certain color, because there was color discrimination, they just wouldn't get title shots. Okay, it is what it is. Now today, it's a little bit different, but let's say from the 40s or 50s, the 50s and the 60s, I think more of the 60s into the 80s, we had the WBA and the WBC. So we actually had two different sanctioning bodies. And what happened was, with those both sanctioning bodies, we got now what was called the Undisputed Champion when somebody unified both belts. Then after the middle to late 80s, we had 4 belts. Now, in this present era, we have 4 belts, so that unifying all 4 belts is actually quite difficult. And the reason that is so is because even people on a crusade to unify all 4 belts, they have to fight, 4 different champions. And what makes it difficult is whether those champions want to fight you, 1, 2, that you may have to deal with politics, different promotional companies, etc. Then you have to make a number of defenses, which means you have to defend for each belt. And then on top of that, you have to, if you finally get to the unification, you still have this problem where you have to deal with all those sanctioning fees. So it's not only very costly, but it's also, difficult in a political climate where you have people who don't want you. They don't want to fight you for various reasons. So nowadays, there are extremely few undisputed world champions. Now, people say it's easier to get a title shot, and that may be so. But it's absolutely difficult. It's almost downright impossible to become an undisputed champion in the world today. It's actually, I think, much more difficult than even back in times for a number of different reasons. So what I'm going to show you is that at this present time, there are no undisputed world champions. There are people who are close to achieving that, but they're not. So if you look at the heavyweight division right now, there's no undisputed world champion. Vladimir Klitschko is trying to get there, and he's been working very hard during his career of so many years to get there, but he hasn't gotten there. At cruiserweight, there's none. Light heavyweight, Sergey Kovalev is close, but we don't know if he'll get there. Super middleweight, there's none. Middleweight, there's none. Super welterweight, there's none. Welterweight, there's none. Super lightweight, none. Lightweight, none. Super featherweight, none. Featherweight, none. Super bantamweight, none. Bantamweight, none. Super flyweight, none. Flyweight, none. Junior flyweight, none. Minimum weight, none. Okay? So that just confirms my point. The last person to really do so, I think, was Bernard Hopkins back in the 90s. He actually unified all 4 belts. I don't know if you guys know of anybody else who did it within this period between the late 80s to now. Please let me know in your comment section below. You guys have a great one.